Hello, my name is Ilona and this video will be placed on Wednesday, February 5th, 2025. And the first thing I wanted to take a look, this is a little bit different, so I'm not sure if people are going to be very interested in the topics that I'll be sharing, but I wanted to share them anyway. I think they're very interesting. First of all is about Candace Owens. She is starting a series about Brigitte Macron, becoming Brigitte. And this is about proving that Brigitte Macron used to be a man and changed to a woman. And you may think, well, I think there are also people in the US, a certain former first lady she could have taken a look at. But I think this is purposely done to open people's minds, because in the USA, France is further away. It's not that close. If you start immediately with another former first lady, in this case, of course, Brigitte is still a first lady, but we're talking about a former first lady, it will be too much for people and they would immediately shut down. So this is a safe subject to choose. And it's very interesting that this is now coming out, of course, about the changes with the gender and things like that. And I believe this is very important that this is coming out, and Candace Owens is starting with that. You can watch it on her YouTube channel. And if it's not there anymore, so I'm sure there are other ways of finding it, but I do believe it will I'm pretty sure that it will remain on YouTube for some reason. I think this is very important for people to, open their minds. All these phases that people go through, and this is one of those stages that needs to be addressed as well. And I actually taken a look with it. Of course, in my Dutch video, I shuffled the cards. We've got the 7 of Wands. We've got the 4 of Wands as the central card. We've got the 2 of Cups in the past. We've got the Strength card underneath the 4 of Wands. And for the future, we have the Star card and the Death card. So this is very, very important. I do think that Candace, at least, and the people that are coming out are in a way better position. But there's still going to be some resistance. I do believe that she actually received a letter from, lawyers from Macron, that she's not allowed to talk about it, but she's speaking about it anyway, because that won't stop Candace. And I do think that this is really about, she is standing in a better position, but there's going to be resistance and also other people speaking out about this. This will bring people together to finally understand this as well. This is very important to also be spoken about, so people and humanity can step back in our own power, in our own strength, because really this is about an agenda that's been going on for a very long time. And a lot of people, a lot of celebrities, even older celebrities, most likely if not what they seem. I believe this program has been going on for a very long time by the dark energies, purposely to confuse people with all these genders and focusing on children and keep them all confused. It has to do with transhumanism. It has to do with, an attack on the reprocreating systems. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but I'm sure you understand that if, people change genders, certain operation happen, and because of that people cannot I'm sorry, but can't have children anymore. Let's keep it simple. I'm sure you understand what I'm talking about. Reprocreate. Sorry about that. Never mind, but they won't be able to have children anymore, and that will have an effect on humanity. And of course, the dark energies truly want that. So they've been doing this for a very long time, and it's also confusing people, all these different agendas. And I do believe that also something with aliens is connected to it, but it's coming to an end. This entire agenda is ending with the Death card. But it's important that it's put into the light, that people are starting to understand this. And obviously, first we'll look at Brigitte Macron, and of course this opened up gates to other people, like another former first lady from the USA. We're not sure if her name is Michelle or Mike. This is all important, and it needs to be in stages, just with the children as well. If you come out immediately with this and just throw it all out there, a lot of people have a difficult to even understanding it. They might completely reject it. And of course, in the independent media and in the people that think for themselves, most of them are aware of this, of what's been going on for a very long time. But this is being put into motion, and I think this is purposely done this way, so it will feel safer to certain people. But at least Candace Owens has a humongous public, a lot of public interest. A lot of people watch her, and a lot of people are now finding out about this. And this is interesting. Like I said, it opens up things for others and for other people to come forward with other information. So the other thing I also want to take a look at is court case going on now in Hollywood. And I already talked about it, of course, in my Dutch video explaining everything. But it's so much, so it might be a little bit confusing, but maybe a lot of people have heard about it. I don't know. It's about Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively, and Justin Baldoni, and of course Wayfair Productions, which is his production company. It's being, of course, sued by Blake for all kinds of things, and so much is now coming out. And it has to do with the movie It Ends With Us. And the movie is actually about a very serious topic. It has to do with a toxic relationship where the man physically does things, unfortunately, to a woman. And of course, this also happens different around. But in this movie, it's the man towards the woman. And It Ends With Us means it ends here. It ends with us. That's the purposely the title of the book. It's a book by Colleen Hoover, and there's so much now coming out. I'm just trying to hopefully a little better than in my Dutch video. It was a bit confusing at times, but first of all, Justin bought the rights from Colleen Hoover for this movie, for this book to create the movie. He's been working for it for like a long time. In 2019, he received the rights. And then, of course, the production starts. It's so much work. Then later on, Blake Lively was attached as the actress. And he is not only directing Justin, but also acting in it. And he's he is the actor that has to play, of course, the bad guy in this movie. And a lot of things were already kind of happening there, and during the movie that Blake didn't want to do this. There were some things already coming out, but in August, I think the premiere was very close near Deadpool. Of course, her husband Ryan Reynolds in Deadpool, and during the premiere, Justin wasn't anywhere to be found. We only saw Blake and Ryan, and I think Hugh Jackman also showed up, who plays Wolverine, of course, in Deadpool and Wolverine. And the cast was on following Justin. There was also some things going on there. And of course, she was pretty much only promoting the movie, and people started having an issue with how she was promoting it. This is a very serious subject, and she was actually saying, grab your popcorn, wear your florals, like it was some kind of rom-com. It was really very strange. And she had like these products for her hair she wanted to also sell, and something that has to do with booze and alcohol, which is a very strange combination, especially concerning the subject of the movie, because a lot of those things happen, those situations, when someone has been drinking, so it's really completely tone deaf. And a lot of people started complaining about that, and old interviews were coming out like, well, she never was a very nice person. But Blake, of course, didn't look at herself like, yeah, I haven't dealt with this very, I'm a bit tone deaf. This is an issue an issue I'm creating. No, this must be Justin and his PR team. They must be behind this. They purposely are trying to hurt me or anything. So that's what she thought. And apparently she filed like a complaint, I think the 20th of December, and then the New York Times immediately, like a day later, published like this article with text showing apparently that Justin was inappropriate towards Blake and all things. It was just horrible. And of course, the entire public view of Justin was, oh, this is a horrible man. Everyone was kind of siding with Blake because, well, an inappropriate, awful situation. And I think before Christmas, she actually got like a real court case or something like that. So that was right before Christmas. That's so nice of her to do that right before Christmas. Anyway, they probably weren't expecting anything in return from Justin, but they were kind of forgetting that part of Wayfair Productions, he is a part of, that also has a billionaire who is part of that company. And he was not very pleased with what is going on and ruining the reputation of Justin, but also ruining the reputation of Wayfair Production, which is his production, company as well. So he got a good lawyer, and then suddenly, I think at the beginning of the year, Justin came out with all the receipts of all these text messages that were obviously doctored by the New York Times. So he actually filed against the New York Times for representing this in an awful manner, being extremely biased, not doing their diligence as journalists. And then he also started something against Blake Lively, obviously, and Ryan Reynolds. It is just one gigantic mess, and a lot of things are now coming out that it's very obvious from all the text coming out. I believe there's now a website online where you can read all the text and all the information, and I think there's a court case today. I'm going to start talking about this. But it's very obvious actually in all these findings and all these texts that Blake wanted to take over the movie, and that she's been doing that for quite some time. She's been trying to manipulate. Ryan gets into this and really tries to push things. He tried to buy the rights of Justin's because they want to do the sequel. Blake and Ryan want to do the sequel, and obviously don't want him around. So they wanted to get rid of him, and I believe that's actually what Ryan also did with Deadpool 1, that he got rid of the director for that. Apparently is a method and a way for him, allegedly. I think that's what he's been doing, and now it's being shown. And it's just one big mess, but you can see how the PR companies are really making the narratives, and how easily the public is swayed in one direction with all these doctored texts, and now they see the real texts and they're like, wait a second, this wasn't what, you can change and manipulate narratives, and people are starting to see this. They're starting to see the tactics, they're starting to see the power play. And obviously, like I mentioned, I don't think Ryan and Blake completely realized that there was a billionaire there as well who's now paying for everything, all the lawyers, and they've got a really good lawyer there. Justin has an excellent lawyer, and showing all these texts, and it's so easy to see how manipulated everything is. And they drag in Taylor Swift as well, because apparently she was also part of doing things in the movie. Apparently, she's saying that she had nothing to do with it, but you can see from the text that apparently she does have something to do with it. So I'll just have to wait and see what comes out from everything. But it's really just showing how Hollywood's been treating their stars. Their stars think they're above it all. They can get away with anything. And the awful part about this as well is that Blake purposely used a certain complaint, an SA complaint, and against Justin, because she also wanted to make sure that then, if that was of course filed, then he could lose his contract with Colleen Hoover. So he would lose the rights to the sequel to the movie, or directing it, or doing anything with this for the sequel of the movie. And then Blake and Ryan could, of course, buy it from Colleen back. It is so sneaky, so manipulative, and really so sick when you look at it. There were some interesting things in there as well. There was apparently a text, this was written by Blake Lively, where she mentioned that if Justin saw Game of Thrones, that she is Khaleesi, and that she has two dragons, Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift, who happens to be best friends with Blake Lively. And they work really well for her, and he should really enjoy, of course, those dragons as well. But of course, they can turn as well. So it's an intimidation tactic there. It's just, I'm sure she didn't see Game of Thrones or the end of it, that Khaleesi actually ended up going completely insane, burning everyone, and was, unalived by her lover, Jon Snow. And those dragons really weren't doing much anyway. I think maybe it's very symbolic of what is happening right now. I'm also watching Candace Owens on this, and she just as Jon Snow, she was already saying like, well, I don't want this. But yeah, I do think there is some symbolism in that I don't think Justin wanted this case at all. You see in all these texts, he's really trying to make her feel as comfortable as possible. He understands completely there is a power imbalance, and he's trying to smooth things out. Apparently, she's been threatening Sony, who is also distributing everything or maybe paying for it. I'm not sure. You know, you have got the production company, you've got the movie company, that if they didn't use her edits, then she would do something to Justin. That's also happened apparently. An insider said this 6 months ago, before this all happening, on a Reddit post, that this was actually in the works. And when you see how fast the New York Times had everything, and apparently there's metadata showing that the article was already started in October, though there is so much going on. This is about narratives. This is about using in an awful manner the Me Too movement against a man, trying to ruin his reputation. It's one big gigantic mess. I'm sure I was trying to make a point here, but I've kind of, because of it's so big, and it's very interesting how they see themselves. They really see Ryan and Blake. I'm talking about these Hollywood stars think they can get away with anything, and they obviously didn't expect that someone was going to fight back. And I think this is about showing people how the PR works. Also, that's what I wanted to mention. Certain people found on TikTok the metadata. It's now placed in the court case as well. So this information that was found by, your internet sleuths is now being used in the actual court case. Actually, the lawyer thanked people for finding out all these things. People are really invested in it, finding out what is going on, what is happening. And it so clearly shows the narratives, the the manipulation tricks. Like I mentioned, using you should all believe all women, except if they're toxic feminine, because then in that case they might be using it to destroy someone. As this is really about destroying a man's reputation, completely destroying everything, and it's awful and sad when you look at it, but it's now coming to light. I don't think Justin is going to back down. His lawyer certainly isn't, and this is all coming out, and this just keeps on going on. And right now Blake and Ryan are in an awful position, I think, created by themselves, and I don't think they ever thought they were going to be in this position, because, well, they're the stars. But they are now publicly, of course, looked at in a completely different way. And I think both their reputation are completely shot to pieces. Although we have to wait with Ryan. But I do believe that Blake is not really going to find any work anytime soon. I think that you can pretty much forget about that. What I wanted to mention about the edits. Because Justin was, of course, the director. And he made an edit. But, like I've mentioned, Blake wanted to take over the movie, so she actually made another edit. Because, when you really think about it, it's really ridiculous. The director is the director, and this just comes to show. So I wanted to take a look with my cards. Well, we have the Six of Swords moving away from this. We've got the Five of Swords as the central card. This is about power play. This is about manipulation. This is about showing how it works, the narratives, what we see in the media, all the texts that weren't completely correct. We were swayed one way, and then suddenly the public was swayed in another way. You see people being incredibly fake. There are some people still defending Blake and Ryan even with all the information now coming out. That's a bit strange. So you do now see that probably certain people are, well, maybe getting something on one way or another. It's very strange, but it's now so obvious. And a lot of people are now involved and getting information out that's actually being used in the court case. So this is interesting. We've got the Ten of Wands in the past. And we've got a Three of Cups. I think ultimately, I do believe that Justin is going to come out on top in a way. But this is really the destruction of these Hollywood powerhouses that have been getting away with anything, everything, because of their PR companies, because of all these people and the media helping them along, all the contacts that they have. And it's really about, because this is the interesting card for the near future, or the future, the Devil card and the Seven of Swords. They're trying to get away with it, but they're not going to. Seven of Swords, this is being shown, this is being put into the light. This awful way of treating people, dealing with people in this way, it's going to stop. We're not going to put people on pedestals anymore. Of course, in the community I'm in, I don't think anyone is putting anyone on the pedestal anymore. But there are still large group of people, especially young people, looking up. That's Ryan Reynolds, that's Deadpool, or that's Blake Lively, or from, I think, Gossip Girl. I've never watched Gossip Girl, but I believe she is. It's from a long time ago, but a lot of people still, see that as very... when they were kind of growing up watching that, you have certain programs that stay with you. Look up to these people, all these celebrities, and it's really so important that people really see what's really going on here. Power play, using their power, manipulating it, trying to get what they want because they think that they deserve it, the entitlement. It's all coming out. We're moving away from that. And really a celebration that people are not going to get away with it anymore. I think Diddy thought he was going to get away with it as well, and it's not happening anymore. So it's coming to light. They can't hide, they can't run, they cannot get away with it anymore. So I want to leave it at this. Hope to see you in another video. Bye.